Hello, welcome to VAD Inspires and welcome to the Strictly Personal Part 9. And today I want to share something unique with you. Have you ever felt that when you are depressed or anxious, you have two options, being numb or being in pain? Like being numb, so you self medicate to forget your pain, and when you're not numb, you feel pain in that you are feeling that because of the way you are analyzing your situation. But I'm here to tell you today that you have a third option, and that third option is what we're gonna explore today. Before we explore that option, I want to just briefly elaborate for you in terms of the pain, the reason you are in pain, because I was in pain, and we are all in pain in some ways because life is full of problems and challenges. But the way we approach it will determine if we stay in that pain, which is suffering, or if we can alleviate it, even by a little bit. And that's by finding meaning from the pain and using it to elevate ourselves. But the focus today is the faulty thinking that happens whenever we feel depressed, whenever we feel anxious, and whenever we feel like we don't have any options. When Dyer once said, change the way you're looking at things, and the things you're looking at will change. Change your perception, change your life. And I think that's great. And this is not just a positive thinking, wishy washy stuff. This is something that actually works because I'm going to illustrate this in an example. Try this on for size or try it as an exercise. Close your eyes. If you're driving, this will be hard for you. But if you're not, if you're watching this video sitting down in your room, look around your room right now and focus and look for everything that is red. Everything you can find that is red, look at it right now. Red, 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 red. You got it? Now close your eyes. Tell me everything that is blue. If you close your eyes for a second and think of things that are blue, it will be hard for you to recall. Why? Because I didn't suggest to your brain to focus on that. It will be hard for you to find it. Here's another illustration. If you tell your brain not to think of something, that's what your brain thinks of, right? It's like me, if I tell you now not to think of an elephant or not to think of a rat, inevitably you will start thinking of an elephant or a rat. Why? Because I have said that thing, and whatever you focus on is where your energy flows, is where your mindset sets in, and that's where your whole being will focus on. And this is the last illustration to clarify for you how faulty thinking leads to continued pain that you might be feeling. If you're driving down the road, if it's a snowy road, and you come across a snowy path and you veer off course and you're heading for a ditch, where do you focus on? You focus on the ditch. But where are you trying to go? You're trying to get back on the road. So inevitably, you're focusing on the ditch and your car is going towards the ditch. Instead of you looking back at the road to veer back to the road, you're focusing on the ditch and you keep going to the ditch. And that's why you cannot drive looking at the rear view mirror, because that's a sure way to get into an accident. And that's what you're doing every time you are in pain, is that you are appraising your situation in a way you're looking at the past, you're ruminating it, you are impressing it on your subconscious, and that's what you're feeling. But what I'm here to tell you today is that you can change that, because I am changing it for me. And that's why I have this invigoration. It's like I have this new lease on life that I'm confident I can do things that I previously viewed in a different way that I couldn't do. Right? I could quit an addiction. I could start working out. I could start making these videos. I could start moving towards my goal of creating a business for myself. Because now I understand that my focus was the main reason I was in a depressed and anxious state. Because we see two ways, right? We see in two ways. One is sight, what we see with your eyes. One is insight, what you see with your mind. And we often focus too much on what we see with our eyes physically rather than what we see on our insight. But again, what you see with your eyes could be affected with what you are thinking with your insight. So in other words, if you're thinking you cannot do it, All you're gonna see with your physical eyes is reasons for not to do it and reasons why you cannot get out of that depressed state, why you cannot get out of bed, why you are lazying around, why you are playing video games all day or binge watching. Behaviors that I regularly engaged in, and something that I have come to understand the reasons why I was engaging in it and how I changed it, which I will get to in a minute. But you're focusing your insight on incapabilities, and that's what your eyes are going to see. And Mark Twain said it best. He said, you cannot trust what you see with your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. You cannot trust the thing that you see right now because your thinking is faulty. Your vision is blurry. It's like when you have a blurred vision, you try to refocus your eyes physically. That's the way your mind is. Your mind is blurry and you're trying to use it to think. Of course, it's going to give you back faulty information that will lead you to act in faulty ways, that will lead you to reinforce that belief that you are not capable anyway. So you end up doing things that are not in your interest. So when you focus on that negative, that's what's gonna happen. Because I was focusing on things that I didn't want, right? I was focusing on, oh, I don't want to disappoint my family. Oh, I was feared. I was afraid of rejection. Oh, I'm afraid of failure. Oh, is it gonna work out? Oh, how long is it gonna take? Oh, like I couldn't do it. All this focus was affecting the way I was appraising my situation, and that was all I thought of. And this have went on for 8 years now because I didn't decide that I wanted to be a life coach and study psychology today. This is a decision I made about 6-7 years ago. And the reason that I haven't made as much progress as I would like to has much to do with my thought than it has to do with my actual capability. And that might be where you might be stuck as well. Because for every single reason that I couldn't do it, that is also a flip reason on why I could do it. I mean, I'm only 24 years old. I still have a lot of time. Could you imagine me being consistent from now, 5 years from now, or 6 years from now, before I'm 30 years old, how much further I could get? But the trick is, can I be consistent? Fear of rejection. When you don't try, you fail by default. So I'm not going to know until I try. And I'm not going to know for sure until I have tried in a way that I know that I've put in my best effort, because I know that I haven't. And when you're honest with yourself, when you were trying, it depends on the volume and the time and how much you're willing to take in. Feeling like a loser? You're a loser anyway if you don't try anything. So these are the conversations that I was having with myself. I was trying to reframe my thoughts. I was trying to reframe my feelings. And that's how you get out of a rut, by reframing your feelings. So pick one thought that is limiting you, whether it's the fear of rejection, whether you're afraid to get out of bed, whether you're too anxious to even think clearly. Try to flip it and try to focus on possible solutions. One of the solutions is finding purpose and meaning. And as broad as that is, it's a good way to start. And then you can get to specifics as to what are your interests. Maybe you like sports. Maybe you like movies. Maybe you like working out. All of these things have business opportunities within it. And once you get yourself embraced in a specific field and you start to explore it, it's better than just standing still and doing absolutely nothing. Because that's what's going to keep you in that depressed state. That's what's going to keep you in that action state. And of course, you cannot solve your problem by blaming the world. You cannot solve your problem by blaming circumstances, because everyone goes through circumstances, but not everyone stays in those circumstances. And why your reasons might be legitimate, why your reasons might be something that is actually stopping you, it doesn't change the situation that it's up to you to change. It's up to you to grow. It's up to you to explore. That's how I figured out, right? You cannot solve your mental situation by sending the whole world to the psychiatrist. You're still the one with the issue. You cannot give an aspirin to your neighbor when you're the one suffering the headache. So that's what I discovered. That's what I understood. And that's why I have decided to take charge of my life, to lead an intentional life. And the way you do that is first finding something to do. You can start as small as taking a walk around the block. You can start as small as start eating the right food. You can start as small as start going to the gym. You can start as small as just getting into activity mode, taking up something, try to learn a new language, try to start school. And these are the things that will start moving you towards the right direction. But of course, I work with depressed and anxious young professionals, and I'm always here for you. You can book a session with me, we talk, we work on specific strategies to help you to change. Or not even me, find someone else, find a coach, find a therapist. But you need help. If you have tried so much on your own and you cannot change, you need help from someone who can keep you accountable to change, someone to help you reframe your thinking in a way that will help you to progress. And that's all from me today. As always, thanks for watching. Be great, subscribe, and stay inspired.